Hey everybody, I am glad you are here with us today. This is Wade from Volusion, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a slideshow. So I just wanted y'all to see, there's been a large uptick in adoption on our homepage slideshow feature since it was introduced several months ago. But we've also noticed there's a lot of confusion over what exactly a slideshow is, what you should be accomplishing with it, what it should look like, and what size it should be. A lot of this is fostered by just that many users first seeing the slideshow will interpret it as a gallery of sorts, where product images can be uploaded, and I don't know, it makes things look kind of nice. It's just one visual feature of the template. And many people use it that way to varying degrees of success. So they'll hop in here, they're going to upload images from their own computer. The first thing that's going to jump to mind is product images. So I'm going to upload a few of those. There we go, and save it. These are product images I downloaded from a dropshipper. I'm not exactly selling any of this stuff. So they'll upload product images to the slideshow, and they're going to get something that looks like this, where at the top it's got all the traditional categories, and at the bottom it's got the products that you have marked as featured products. And then in between it will have this gargantuan slideshow. What's happening here essentially is a conflict of interest. Product photography is, as a general rule, usually either square or tall and not wide. And slides are wide and not very tall. So Volusion takes the not very wide product photos and it makes them as wide as it needs them to be, which is 960 pixels from edge to edge. But it also does the same to the height of that image, meaning an image that's really tall but not very wide becomes wide enough, but becomes also extremely tall, as you can see in this situation. So the first question many users ask is, why is my slideshow so big? General answer, just because you're using product photography, and that's not really the situation for it. A traditional slide's a much different beast. I'm going to just turn the original slides back on to illustrate here. So delete all these. There we go. It takes us back to our sample slides. We save it. Let's take a look again. So the traditional slideshow is, as I mentioned, pretty wide, not very tall. And the reason why is because it's not really about the products. It's not showing people a gallery of things that you sell. It's not, it's not anything like trying to get them to understand the scope of the things that you sell. That's what these categories are for. What these slides are doing, these ones that you see here at least, is calling attention to some aspect of the business that you think can help incentivize a sale. So in this case, our first slide, all of our products are made with 100% organic cotton. Well, maybe I'm selling clothing and it's an industry where synthetic fabrics are really common, and people are disappointed with the performance of synthetic fabrics. They'd much prefer cotton. So we have a slide detailing that. Or this could be applicable to anybody, free 2-day shipping. Free shipping is common, but not common enough for most online shoppers. So if you offer it, why not call attention to it and to let people know about it? And you could do that with a content page. Have a category up here at the top here that says shipping. They click on it, they read about it. Or here in the footer, have one of these that says shipping. They click on it, they read about it. But how many users realistically are going to find the shipping down here, then also be excited enough about free shipping to buy it? They first got to find it to be excited about it. Now, where's your best chance at making that impression? Well, here on your homepage, hence the slideshow. Let's see what the last one is. Okay, sale. This is another great example. If you have a category for sale items and you don't just want to stick it right here where anybody can see it easily, you want to actually promote it, slideshow is a great chance to do that. And you're going to see this trend with lots of other companies that do slideshows. Here's a few great examples here. So let's take as an example this one, Sprinkle Penny. So as you can see, they've got 4 slides. It seems to be some service that allows you to donate to sites that you love that don't have a revenue model that works for them, that rely on donations. So it's got 4 slides. I would guarantee any amount of money, each of those 4 slides is talking about some function that Sprinkle Penny supports. So slide 1 is I can donate. Slide 2 is I can send a message with my donation. Slide 3 is, and so on. Or this one, where this is a company that makes apps. They've published a new app. They want to draw attention to the new app. There's lots of reasons why you'd want to create a slide, but ultimately your goal is not just to show people a pretty picture. It is to talk about something that you need people to know about. And this is where we're going to start. So every slide is composed of a couple elements. The most important element by far is the copy that you're actually showing people. What you write on there makes a great deal of impact on whether they're interested enough to continue reading about what it is. And in this case, we've got several different styles of copy. We've got this copy up here, we've got this copy down here, just 2 different types of font. That's it, nothing special. Generally, though, the most important operative words are going to be your bigger, more impactful font. And then the other important aspect of the slide is what we'd call the call to action. This looks like a button here, shop sale. And you'd think that that would, do something on its own, but it doesn't really. What it's there for is to link to a page in the store that discusses in more detail why that aspect of my business is special. So here I've just downloaded this free 2-day shipping slide, and I've created a page. We're going to go find it. I've created a page to talk about my free shipping special. And I'm going to grab the address for that page. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to edit that slide. I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to apply. And now we have a slide that talks about my free shipping, gives people enough information to be interested, and then invites them to learn more. Now this isn't a button, this is just a shape on the image, but still it looks like a button, so people feel incentivized to click it. And here they learn more about my free shipping policy. That is the goal. So we are going to design one of these said slides. So to do that, generally speaking, you're going to start with one of 2 things. You're either going to start with a nice nondescript, very just patterny graphic. Let's turn these sample slides back on again so you can see what I'm talking about. Delete. Just turn that back on again. You're either going to start with a nice patterny graphic like this one, just something pleasant to help you write against it, or you're going to start with a stock photo. Now, I guarantee you Volusioneers did not walk out in this field with a high-res camera and take a picture of a bud of cotton just for this slide. What we do instead when we design slides as professionals is we download what's called stock photography. This is public photography that anybody's able to use. Sometimes you have to pay for it, sometimes it's free. We're going to go somewhere where we can find it for free, but generally your higher quality ones are the ones that you pay for. So we grab the stock photo, we modify it so that it's legible if we write against it, and then we write against it after resizing it down to the size of a slide, which in this case is 960 wide, and let's see how tall. There we have it, 540 pixels tall. You can see that just by opening it in a new tab and mousing over the top there. But really, as long as our image is 960 wide, Volusion doesn't need to do anything with the height. It just leaves it at whatever height you made the image at. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with a slightly shorter slide to illustrate that. The first step in creating one of these slides is to find the image that you want to modify. For that, I'm going to go to a site called Pixabay, P-I-X-A-B-A-Y. It's free stock photography, usually, although you can certainly find yourself stock photography you have to pay for. We're going to make a slide that discusses the warranty policy I offer on those electronics. So what's a good image to illustrate a warranty? Well, We could use an image of a man delivering a package. Maybe that'll get the point across. But for me, I'm going to go with an image that illustrates repair, because that's the thing we want people to feel when they look at that slide. So I'm going to look at repair. These ones with the watermark are all sponsored slides from Shutterstock. Those are going to cost money, but it's just the top row here. If we scroll down, though, we should see some more relevant slides. Okay, yeah, I can deal with this. So we pull up the image. This is somebody sticking a screwdriver in really a nonsensical place on a motherboard, but we'll leave that to the pros. And we're going to be presented over with a thumbnail for the image, and over here on the right, it's going to tell us what sizes we can get that image in. Generally speaking, as a rule, you want to start with the largest size, and we're going to take it down from there and then take out a little section of it. But sometimes you want to start big. So I'm going to download this for free. It's going to save it. It's going to save it in my downloads folder. That's not where I want it. I want it in my projects folder for this video. So I save it there. These are two I was trying before. I'm just going to delete those, keep things simple. So we have this photo that we think illustrates repair. Now we need to modify it. And for that, we're going to go to another free utility called PicMonkey. Pick like a picture, monkey like the animal. We're going to click Edit, and we're going to select the photo from our computer. And it's going to open it in full size. See how big that is? Way too big for a slideshow. And from there, we can modify it. The first step of this is to get a nice 960 by 540 or 960 by 400, 960 by something image that we can write against. There's a couple ways we can do that. If you want a real close-up on an area of the photo, just go ahead and click crop over here. Type in 960, and then whatever you want the height to be, I'm going to go for 450. And see how it just gives us this little section? So if I wanted, I could just get a close-up on these slots here. I could get a close-up on this processor, or on the screwdriver if I wanted to. See that white right here? This is going to be really hard to write against. So I might do something like that if I felt inclined. This is for kind of advanced users. If you want to play it safe though, just click resize. We're going to make this image 960 to start with. And then see how it changes this other number here too? This is because I set this to keep proportions. So it keeps the width and height ratio the same. The effect of that is when we click on crop to get our little section, and we type in 960 by 450, it doesn't give us any side to side. We just click on whatever little section of this image we want to use. In this case, I'm going to try to minimize the white area I'm going to have to write on top of by getting as much dark up around the top right corner as I can. Dark is easier to write on. So now that I have a section I'm happy with, I'm going to hit apply. It's going to reduce it to just that section. That's important. So now that we have it in the appropriate size for a slide, we are going to want to add our copy and our call to action to it. But you'll notice if we just add copy straight on top of that, which I'm going to do here using PoetSen, which is a nice wide font, and we stick that here, and we say, come on, can you let me edit? Included 2-year warranty. Yeah. And I'm going to make that font slightly smaller so it fits all in one line. And I make it white for legibility. Let's just get it a little bit more centered. You know, I can read it, but not easily. It causes a little bit of eye strain, and that is especially obvious if I add more text underneath it in a smaller font like Arial. Terrible copy, so forgive me. I'm going to change that to white. Gonna widen that sucker up. See? Really hard to read. Too much variation in the color, right? So what we generally want to do is give ourselves something to write against. And there's two ways primarily of doing that. The first is to add a filter to the image. So in this case, I'm going to hop into my filters over here. This magic wand thing, see that? And I'm going to try to find something that colorizes this in a way that's easy to write against. So we're going to check out Holga. Meh, black and white, not my thing. We're going to check out Yester color. Now that's a little better. A little vintagey for an online store, but it'll do. Going to square the corners by unchecking that box, reduce the amount of fade on the image so it doesn't look quite as weird, and apply that. And now you'll notice, if I write against it in Poetson, and I bump it to white, and I make it a bit bigger, and I elongate it out so it's all on one line. Beautiful, so much easier to read. And so if I wanted to, I could just add a call to action, which we're going to cover in a second, and I can save this image, and I've got a pretty legible slide, depending on what filter you pick. But I don't want to do that because whatever, maybe I think this filter is kind of silly and a little, too hip, right? So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do another technique. I'm going to reopen that image. If you didn't follow this the first time, you'll get another chance. I'm going to take it down to 960. I'm going to crop a little section of it, 960 by 450. Put it all the way to the top, so you got more space to write. Apply it. I'm going to add a shape to this image that's going to let me easily write on top of it. A nice transparent shape so you can still see through it, but something to add some definition to the image. So the first thing I've got to do is find a shape that I want to add to this image. This is going to look real weird, but anyways, this is under the overlay section of PicMonkey. I'm going to pick out a nice star. Is there anything else I want to use? Symbols? No. Arrows? You might need those in a second. Don't go for anything with too much detail. Oh, this is good. Paper scrap. There we go. So I'm going to add this little thumbnail. Oh, even better. Hey, look at this. Get rid of that star. I'm going to give it a color. In this case, my theme color for this template is red. So there we have it. Make it as big as can be there. Now you'll notice it's kind of blocking a lot of the image. So what we want to do is we want to make it slightly transparent so people can still see the subject of the image behind it. See how you can just kind of make that out, but it still gives me this nice layer to write against. I'm going to bump that up just a little bit higher in terms of the fade. So now we've got a nice colored object that we can write against to help define what makes this store special. And because we don't need quite as large a font now that we have a background to write against, I'm going to use League Gothic, which I like better. I'm going to drag this up to this location. I'm going to say included 2-year warranty. I'm going to center that inside its box. Going to widen it out some. Going to increase the font size and change it to white. Nope. Don't want to drag that, want to drag the text. So be it. So, looks good, right? Okay, so now we've got something to write against. If I wanted to, I could add another ribbon down below or something and talk about, hey, why don't we do it? So we're going to go in here, we're going to go back to our stars. Okay, where did our stars go, guys? Sparkle stars? No. Just stars. There we go. I'm going to get this one. Oh. Gonna make it a little larger. We're gonna try to change it to the same color red. I'm doing this in the wrong order, by the way. Usually your subtext you want to do first. And then I'm going to add some Arial to say on all orders. Gonna center that, change it to white, drag it down here, drag it. There we go. Arial's not the best choice of font, by the way, for this kind of thing, but hey, it'll do for now. Delete that black guy down there, and go ahead and we're going to add a call to action to this slide. So for that, we're going to draw just one more shape. This one is not going to be transparent in any way because it's supposed to be very small. So we're going to grab, how about one of these bubbles? You think these are good? No, unless you're feeling really exotic. No. We're going to go, no, no. No. It's a banner again, or label. Yeah, there we go. Gonna grab this guy. See, because he's a lot darker, it looks a little bit more like a button. There's more you can do in Photoshop if you feel adventurous to kind of emphasize that. We add that down here. Is there anything we want to do to spice it up a bit? These are different blend modes over here. Feeling kind of crazy, check them out. No, all right, we're good. We're just going to do normal. It's a different color. That should drive the point home. We're going to add some text. And usually a nice stocky font to make it clear it's a button. I like Georgia for this reason. Whoa. We're gonna say, oh no, Georgia. No, not Georgia. We're gonna do, getting down to these custom fonts. PicMonkey has some fonts you can actually buy as well. It's very cheap to get the upgraded package that includes them all. I'm gonna use Didact for this. That's great, that's perfect. So white. Let's get it a bit more centered. It's still a bit big for this, so we're going to take it down a notch on size. That's fine. Gonna center it right there. And voila, you've got a slide. So we save that. In terms of quality, always go high quality on these slides if possible. So I used Sean, which is supposedly the highest. And we're gonna say, we're gonna call it warranty slide for easy access. Put it in that same directory. We're gonna go back to Volusion, and triumphantly, we are going to visit the page we created for the free shipping promotion. View it live to get its address. We only really need that last part of the address there after the .com ends. We're going to go to the homepage slideshow and clear our sample slides, upload from our computer, pick our warranty slide. It uploads it automatically. We give it the address we want it to link to, and voila. Have a look at that. So I like them shorter because it keeps this stuff below the fold, or above the fold, where you can see the top of each product image, no matter the size of monitor. But here's our slide. It would rotate if there were other slides, but there aren't. We click on Learn More, and we learn a bit more about the shipping. And that has been your slideshow tutorial. So at the end, if I can figure out how to video edit, I will throw up the names of the resources I used for that free stock photography, and for the photo editor, PicMonkey. Feel free to like or comment on this video. I'll try to keep a track. If there's any follow-up questions you add in the comments, I'll try to respond to them. If you wanted to talk to any of our account managers about this, about best slide approaches, if you have an account manager, feel free to bring it up. We'll let you know, if you have ideas you want to bounce off of us in terms of what kinds of stuff to highlight in your slides, or what kind of images to use. We're always happy to provide some advice on that. But otherwise, this has been Designing a Slide for the Volusion homepage slideshow feature. I hope that you have learned tons and tons from this video, and I hope you'll give us any other requests for videos that you might want to see. Take care, and thank you for watching. This has been Wade, and it's been a pleasure.